I have a few, and I feel like you can knock down a few of them, but there's still stuff that holds me back. So that's why I'm a flat Earth fence sitter. I'm on the fence.
You're a globe skeptic.
Yes,
a globe skeptic.
I could easily be convinced that the Earth is flat, but I think Blake's gonna have a much harder time because anytime I bring anything up, he just goes, "Oh, gravity," and then I go, "Like fucking gravity's made up."
The more you look, the more you try to debunk, the more you're in. You're in, Ryan. You're 100% not a globe. And Blake, you're in shock right now. That's why you think you're at a 3.5, but you're at an 8.5.
Okay. I feel like I've just been knighted. I feel like I just sat down and he just like took a flat Earth and just put it over my shoulders and like, you are now a flat earther.
Clever name, Mad Blunts and Bong Blast. Clever name, podcast. Fucked up shit to make your mom laugh. You're fucked. Never really know what you gon' get. Might catch a buzz from the contact. Lots of that disgusting discussion. Loving it cause it's funny. We got topics for the rich. Poor, gorgeous, and ugly. We got guests of all shapes and sizes. Outrageous violence. If you home alone, then don't try this. Clever name podcast is where you find us.
Welcome back. Special Tuesday edition, Clever Name Podcast. Martin couldn't be here, and I'm a little sad about it. He's got an issue that he's got to deal with, but we got Blake. Normally, Mr. Flat Earth Dave, we would have two people here believing that the Earth is round, like an insane person, but he had a family emergency that he had to deal with last minute, so, keep your thoughts and prayers.
It's better to deal with one. It's better to deal with one insane person at a time. So this is good.
And by insane, you mean somebody who believes
someone that believes that nothing exploded, became everything. Then all the rocks turned into lumpy balls surrounded by smooth water, surrounded by air, adjacent to a space vacuum void of no pressure, which is scientifically impossible. And they believe that giant balls of gas have so much gravity they can hold on to these rocks, and everything works perfectly like a quartz, better than the Rolex watch as far as keeping time, and that kind crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
The more I looked into it,
God created.
No,
it.
don't say bullshit that you don't believe. That sounds even crazier because
I believe.
Okay, sure. When I went down this rabbit hole, after we had Flat Earth Dave on last time, I went down the rabbit hole of just trying to prove that the Earth is round for my own sanity.
Stop saying round because it is round. Okay?
You're right.
It's not a sphere.
Sorry,
it's not a sphere.
Not a ball. And we just before you got here, we were yelling at each other about whether or not the ball is falling or rising through space or sitting perfectly still. And I have a hard time believing that a ball is just infinitely falling through space with everything else around it falling perfectly in sync with it. That was the issue that I had. And that's correct me if I'm wrong. That's what the heliocentric belief is.
This is what your friend believes. He believes that we're on a ball, and at the equator, it's spinning 1,000 miles an hour. That's almost twice the speed of sound, okay? So he believes when he watches the sunset, he's falling over backwards faster than the speed of sound, and he doesn't know it, okay? He also believes that ball, while spinning, not having any centrifugal force, right, even though they say that the oceans swell 14 miles high at the equator, it's going around the sun at 66,600 miles an hour, a speed that you can't even fathom. It's chasing the sun at about 500,000 miles an hour. It's traveling 4.4 billion miles a year, never to return to where it was before. But if you go up tonight, look at the stars, take a picture in a year now from same time, same night, take a picture, every star will be in the exact same place.
That was
that kind of crazy.
That's what you're showing in the background, right? Like that video is supposed to be. This is
what you believe.
That's what you believe.
Anyone that here's the thing. The people that defend the ball don't even believe that they believe this. They're like, oh, that can't be right. No, this is your model. This is insanity. Look at all these planets. They're all the planets. You know, all the planets are on the same plane, Earth plane. How are all of the planets perfectly chasing the sun in this curved course? None of these movements, the spin, the orbit, or the chasing the sun, none of them are straight lines. Like airplanes fly straight and level in a straight line. Okay? You want to compare an airplane, you know, drinking a glass of water on an airplane to the motions of the Earth. You know, like that's the first thing that's going to come out of his mouth is, I could drink a glass of water on the airplane, no problem. But you want to compare it to the slowest motion? Double the speed of the airplane, because that's only going 500 miles an hour. Take the outer shell off of the airplane, because the Earth doesn't have an outer shell if you live on a globe, and dive down as fast as a skydiver with this parachute closed, okay? Because you got to follow the curve, right? Then let me know how your water's doing.
I love this because I'm usually crazy. Now I get to be linked up. I'm usually the one going, dude, this doesn't, like, logistically, if I just ask you, what is more likely? That the picture that you just showed me, the thing that's playing behind you, is like everything is perfectly synced up. You can still astronomy works. You can still look up into the sky, see all the constellations. We can still measure time by the way that everything is moving here. Yet we are flying through space at the speed of sound, and we have no idea what the fuck's going on.
Check this out. This is the hypersonic sled track, right? Did you see it? You can't even see it. It's going to go again. It's going by at 8.6 times the speed of sound. Mach 8.6. 8.6. Watch it go by. Ready? Watch. Ready? Here comes. Oh, can't even see it. Okay. Can you fathom what twice as fast would be? The answer is no. You can't fathom it. Okay. You have to believe that we are orbiting the sun, right? 10 times faster than this. We're chasing the sun 100 times faster than this. So we're going 10 times faster in one direction, 100 times faster in another direction. Both of those are curved directions, okay? And you don't feel it, right? You go out into nature and you see stuff like this, right? Water at rest, mirroring a mountain, no curvature to that water, no motion to that water, right? You're on a spinning, corkscrewing, crazy
water's never
planet in a space vacuum. And you know, the argument is, well, you know, once you're going that fast, you don't notice, right? Well, that's true if you're going in a straight line, but none of these are straight lines. If you're going in a car, let's say you're in a car, 100 miles an hour, just 100 miles an hour, perfectly straight road, great suspension, brand new pavement, and you got a dinner plate and you fill it with water. If that car speeds up or slows down a fraction of a mile per hour, or takes the slightest turn, all the water's off that plate. What's going on here? What's going on here?
Okay, but
what's going on here?
How does that
the size of the water in comparison in the car is a lot smaller compared to
the size of the
globe
water
is supposed to be, right?
So if I had an Olympic-sized swimming pool in a car, you know, a giant car going down the road, and the car sped up or slowed down, you'd have a tidal wave. Okay, you're right. It is different. It's worse when it's bigger. Okay,
it's also water is also never at rest.
Yes, it is. Look at this water. It's at rest.
But, like, technically water is never at rest because of particles moving.
Technically, there's atoms moving around in it if you're a buyer into the atom theory. But water at rest, where essentially if we put a little sailboat, little cup on there, a little plate or something floating on the water, it wouldn't move. Yeah, that's water at rest. Yeah. And it's flat. It perfectly mirrors everything. You can't have a perfect mirror in you know, over a curved surface. And the next thing you're going to say is, oh, the Earth is so big you can't see the curve. But then after that, you're going to say, well, I see boats go over the horizon from bottom up. You know, so it's too big to see the curve, but we can see boats go over the horizon.
I've never seen like a picture of water perfectly still without it being edited, because try and take a picture of perfectly still water and I guarantee you won't be able to get one.
Well, guess what? I don't know where you live, man. Just go out in the nature early in the morning. Go camping by a lake. As you had a nice, calm day. Water is perfectly rest. It's glass. I'm a water skier. I used to be a big time slalom water skier, and we go out at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning just when it gets light. Glass, not even a ripple on there. Amazing. That's water at rest, and it's flat ripples, as fuck.
Okay, hear me out.
What's that?
If it's not at rest, even if you don't believe that, when it freezes, doesn't it freeze level? Isn't that
Flat.
Flat.
Absolutely. We did
Hell
laser
yeah,
tests
flat
across
Earth, Dave.
frozen
Let's go.
lakes.
Skating on a lake. We live in Canada, man.
No, exactly, but it's not curved. At
Yeah,
no
but
point
the
there's a
water
slope.
doesn't freeze as flat either.
Yes, it-
there's
no,
dips
there's-
and
Yes,
shit
it
all
does.
throughout it.
No, it freezes flat. There's rivets and stuff in it, and maybe pressure
Lake
cracks, but it's flat.
Balaton. I think we had a team that went to, I think it was Lake Balaton in I don't know, somewhere way up north, and they did it was frozen lake laser test, and there's no curvature whatsoever. No curvature whatsoever. Okay, and again, when you look at a calm lake, a flat lake, and you see the perfect reflection from the sky, nothing's distorted. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way if there's curvature. Do you know how much curvature on your ball? First, what's your name? The other guy? Name?
Blake.
Blake.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you a couple questions about the globe that you're defending. What's the circumference of the globe?
No idea. Didn't pay attention in science that
Okay,
much.
no
I went
idea.
into
So you're
biology
defending
and
something you have no
chemistry
idea.
instead.
It's 24,901 miles around at the equator. Okay. How many times on your world does the globe spin in one day? Pretty easy question.
No, it's one.
Who said that?
Ryan, I did.
Right. Why are you giving the globe defender the answer?
Well, because he's an idiot.
Ryan,
He's also
hold
an
on,
idiot.
Ryan, hold on. Ryan, well, he believes in the globe, so I can't deny that. But Ryan, you are brand new to flat Earth. Brand new. You are a globe skeptic. I'm not even going to call you a flat earther.
You're pushing
And
me out.
You know more about the globe than your globe defender. Here's the thing. The only people that defend the globe are the ones that don't know their own model. All right, strike two. Doesn't know how many times it spins in one day. The dumbest question ever. A kindergartner knows that. Okay? I already told you how fast it's orbiting the sun. Do you remember?
No, I wasn't listening that closely.
66,600 miles an hour.
Okay.
Okay. How far is the sun from the Earth? Any idea?
8 something. I think it starts with an 8. Can't remember.
Goes 8.
8 trillion miles?
I have no idea. I just know it starts
Yeah.
with an 8.
So what, 8 inches per mile squared? What starts with 8? 8,000? 800?
8 million, 8 billion, 8 something.
8 billion? 8 something. Okay. So it's 8 something. Well, you're wrong. It's 93 million miles.
Okay.
Okay. All right. How did they figure out how far the sun was?
I have no idea. How did they figure it out?
Yeah, they don't know. Nobody really knows. They said, well, Venus, which is about the size of Earth, transited in front of the sun. And, a guy on the East Coast, a guy on the West Coast, saw it start and stop at different times. And they did some really good calculus and figured out the size of the distance of the sun. But they said Venus is the same size as Earth. How did they know that? Okay.
How do you know the circumference
basically,
of the Earth?
What's that?
How do you know the circumference of the Earth if it's flat?
We don't. I'm saying the radius value of the Earth. You know what a radius is?
Yeah, I
The
know what the
radius of a
radius is.
sphere.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
from the center to the surface. Okay. The radius they say is 3,980, just under 4,000 miles. Okay. That radius is how they figured out how far the moon, the sun, the other sides of planets, everything relies on the radius. How did they come up with the radius?
Well, somebody would have
Do
to
you even know that?
No, somebody would have to
Somebody would have to figure out
circumnavigate the
where the center
Earth.
is and go
Well,
around.
how would you know that? Wait, how would you know where the center is?
That's what I'm saying. They would have to find the
I'm
center.
going to help you. I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you. I'm going to tell you how they did it. But first, here's a hallway. It's
Yeah.
flat.
Yeah.
And the lights are reflecting beautifully. And here's the ocean, and it's flat, and lights reflecting. And what happens if we take a surface and we bend it? So here we have a flat thing, and we bend it, and it just becomes a point of light. Okay. So I don't know. We kind of see things that say the Earth is flat. Basically, everything says the Earth is flat. There's flat, and when we bend it, we don't see what we see in nature. Right? Here's a ball. You get that point highlight. You get a point highlight. If the Earth was a ball, we'd have a point highlight like that. Okay, so how did they figure out the radius of the Earth? Okay, so the argument, what people say is, well, 2,000 years ago, the Greeks figured it out. The Greeks figured it out. You know the story about Aristophanes?
Yes.
No, but can I go back to something quickly?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so the light thing, right? What if the sun is just so much bigger that it covers more of the ball?
So it's
Like,
still a
in
dot,
It
but it's
doesn't matter
long.
how. It doesn't
The
matter.
Earth's
You had an
size and the
infinitely
size
far
of the
sun. It's
sun.
not so much bigger. It's the size of a dime held at arm's length. So that distant light would put a hot spot on the Earth.
But that's what we
would
can
light,
see with our
it would light up
eyes.
the whole Earth. What's that?
If it's
You
see,
you
like
can't
the
talk over me
dime
because I can't hear
size.
you. But I'll stop talking when you want to talk. Just let me finish the sentence. But
Okay,
go
okay,
ahead.
go.
No, good. I'm good.
Okay. Sorry, you were saying like the sun is like the size of a dime, but that's just what you can perceive with your eyes. What if you get
Correct.
What if you get like a telescope or something and you see that it keeps going, right? And it gets a lot bigger when you use the glass to reflect the light back.
So I think he's saying the
the
dot.
point?
The dot is that
Dot
there
is-
is actually a very long line, but it's just that's
But
what we're
it's
seeing.
just so much bigger than the Earth. Why wouldn't it cover it? Like I get the light bending thing, right? Like I get that.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying with when you bend it, it becomes a dot, right?
Your point absolutely makes no sense. You have a distant light. It doesn't matter how big it is. It matters how big we see it in the distance. Okay? And that light is reflecting off the water. It's making it, when you go to the edge of the water and you're watching the sunset, you see a line come all the way to your feet, all the way from the horizon. You know where the word horizon comes from?
No.
No.
So if you got your clouds up here and you got your ground here, right? And as it goes into the distance, they appear to get closer and closer and closer just due to perspective, right?
Yeah.
Right? So you got your cumulus cloud deck above you, and 20 miles in the distance over the water, it looks like the clouds are touching the water, but you know that they're not. It's just perspective, right?
Yeah.
That point where the sky and the ground merge creates a horizontal line. That's the zone of your vision. So we call that the horizontal eye zone.
That makes that makes annoying amount of sense to me. That's what's.
Can
really
you show
annoying.
me a horizontal line on a sphere? Because if you live on a sphere, there's no such thing as horizontal and there's no such thing as parallel. Because no two lines, no two plumb bobs would ever be parallel on a sphere. Okay? Because they'd all point towards the center, right? But that's not the world that we live in. See these lights? See these are called corpuscular rays, right? So if you go out, stand under a tree on a cloudy moon night, or even during the day, if you get a foggy day or whatever, and you see from a street light, you'll see corpuscular rays come down. That's because you have a local light and it's spreading out. Okay, so if you follow those lines up, it puts that source light right above those clouds. Okay.
Okay.
But they tell us that the sun is at an infinite distance, 93 million miles. They call that an infinite distance. It's so far away that all the rays come in parallel. So Aristophanes said, well, the sun's at an infinite distance. All the light comes in parallel, although no one's ever seen parallel rays ever. But they're just going to assume that. And back when Aristophanes was 2,000 years ago, they believed that the Earth was geocentric, which means that the sun went around the Earth. So how do you have an infinitely far giant sun circling a minuscule distant Earth? Makes no sense, but this is the story they want to tell. Okay, so we have, no one's ever seen straight rays come in. They always come in corpuscular, right? And then he did his experiment where he had he said, okay, I'm here. This is my stick. It's got no shadow at noon or whatever, where he was. His buddy, 500 miles away, his buddy walked there, count the paces, then somehow called him 2,000 years ago, called him. I said, all right, I'm there. And got it. He put a stick straight up, and his stick had a shadow. Okay. And they're like, and they measured the shadow. And he did some really good calculus, or some good math, and figured out the shape, I lost my word. The diameter, not the diameter, the
Circumference?
What the heck's the word? The circumference. Thank you.
Circumference,
Look
okay.
at you. Mr. Stoner gets the words that I can't say.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. No, it's good. He figured out the circumference of the Earth, and Carl Sagan, Carl Sagan did in Cosmos. He's like,
Yes.
this was a big thing. Everyone saw it. He's like, look, he goes, you got your towers, and if the Earth was flat, it would look like this. He goes, but the only way to have this one not have a shadow and this one have a shadow is if the Earth is curved.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was
So-
going to bring up. I was exactly going to bring that up because that's the one I know. And that's in Egypt or Libya or something like that. And it was when they put those towers up, that was
Yeah.
what convinced me, is because when you
Okay.
have a singular tower, there should be no shadow at noon at one of the places. But if you're far away, that's the concept of time zones, which I can comprehend.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
Okay.
And that's where you're
All
losing
right,
me
so
here,
now
Dave.
get ready to have the thing that made sense to you completely be negated. Are you ready?
God damn it.
Are you ready?
No, but yes.
So on a flat Earth, the sun is close, just like it appears, just like it's proven to see with the crepuscular rays, right? And so we have Aristophanes here. He's got a small local sun, and his buddy is right over here, and there's a shadow. You can do the same math and figure out. You can figure out the sphericity of that flat surface. Okay, does that prove anything? You guys can do this. Get 2 beer bottles, put them on the floor, put a light over one of them, directly over one, and the other one will have a shadow. Do the math, figure out the circumference of your floor, the sphericity of your floor. Okay? A small local light. Put 2 lighters, two posts on the table. Put a light over one of them. The other one's a foot away. It'll have a shadow. You can do the same math and figure out the curvature of your flat desk. Okay? So here's the other thing. If mathematician Aristophanes figured out the shape of the Earth 2,000 years ago, he's a pretty fucking famous dude, right? Okay? He's the guy that figured out the Earth is round, figured out the size. He's Michael Jordan, okay, of the basketball team of mathematicians, right?
Yeah.
His experiment was never mentioned in a book until the 1900s. Why didn't they write about his experiment until the 1900s? Or did somebody just make up a fucking story about this guy and put it into our textbooks and shove it into our Rockefeller-funded schools?
So
Okay?
is the argument for that, I don't know, I'm just guessing, but is the argument for that we didn't accept that the Earth was round up until, I don't know.
No, the argument is we've known for 2,000 years, don't be a flattard. That's what the Globers say, okay? We've known for 2,000 years, okay, that the Earth is flat when there's so much evidence saying otherwise. But if you look at all ancient religion, ancient cultures, not religions, they're all flat Earth cosmology except the religion of NASA, okay?
The religion of
of NASA.
gravity. But
Yeah.
okay, hold on.
You want to go into gravity?
No. I have a question. So in your model, in your flat Earth model, exactly what is above us? What's there? What, like, there's still an atmosphere there? Is there still where are the satellites?
We're in atmosphere. Well, there's no satellites. So
Well,
we're
you
in
can
an
connect to a
atmosphere.
satellite.
Yeah, but we can connect
Stop
to a
it.
satellite.
Stop it. Don't be silly. Don't listen. Don't let me explain what satellites are.
Okay.
All right. And then you'll realize the things that you think are satellites are not.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So what's above us? We don't know. Anything above, I think about 72 miles is the highest an amateur rocket has ever gotten. I don't think anyone's gotten any higher than that ever. And anything beyond 60 degrees south is off limits. Okay. You can't go explore Antarctica, freely explore Antarctica. Yeah, you can go to a base there. You can get a job there. You can stay there for a year or whatever. But man, you don't get any freedom to go explore south. You're not allowed to explore south.
So yeah, I know this because one of the rabbit holes that I went down after we talked last was, okay, who the fuck owns Antarctica? Everything's owned by everybody. There's always an owner. Like even a tiny shitty Falkland Islands, like a tiny little the island of Reunion is owned by France. Like there's tiny shitty islands all over the world, and they're owned by everyone. This giant landmass, who is it owned by?
Yeah.
And the answer is nobody. It's kind of agreed upon that nobody really owns it. It's like a treaty between.
So in the 1940s and 50s, Admiral Byrd started exploring out there. He said, "There's the land bigger than the United States. No human is on it. It's just filled with resources: coal, uranium, gas, natural gas, everything we need, right? Oil, and and then all at a time when everyone's fighting, war is over resources and everything. 12 of the biggest nations in the world go." Nobody can go to Antarctica. Nobody can go to Antarctica. And the rest of the nations after that signed on, right? It's the longest standing treaty ever. You can't question it until the year 2041. That's a ways away, okay? It's the longest standing treaty ever. And why? To protect the penguins and the ice. What?
That was
Right.
it. When I
They'll
realized
kill nations of people to go get some cobalt or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Russia is fighting for ownership of like a tiny part of Alaska because of a coastal agreement. Like there's arguments over there's a tiny little island in between America and Russia that's still fought over. It's split down the middle because they can't agree who owns it.
Yeah.
So how did we all just go in this place that's obviously brimming with oil and other resources? We all just went, nobody's going to touch that. We're all
right.
we're
so
all good.
Without going down the war rabbit hole, all wars are bankers' wars. They're all made up. They're real wars for people, for the civilians that are fighting them. People are dying, but they're all just put-ups. They're to control the population, to control the minds of the people, and to keep us all fighting with each other within, right?
Yep.
Systemic racism, it doesn't exist, right? It's all nonsense. It's all just to keep us fighting with each other, right?
So in order to be
right,
in order to be a flat earther, do you also have to be red pilled? Is that like the first step?
It is. Well, it is the ultimate red pill. I used to wake people up to, the I called it exposing the big three, the, New York event. I'm going to try to keep this clean because I want to put this on my YouTube. The thing that happened in New York in September, the thing that happened in Connecticut at the school that has a beach name, and the thing that happened at the marathon in Massachusetts, right? I exposed the crap out of those false flags, fake nonsense hoaxes. And I figured that would wake people up, but people just go right back to sleep. Wake them up to flat Earth. That's it. They're obsessed. They're obsessed. Nobody leaves flat Earth, right? You can try to scare people away. You got all these anti-flat Earthers out there. You got the Flat Earth Society. You got, President Obama and John Kerry and everybody pushing the Flat Earth Society because they want you to go there. Flat Earth Society says the Earth is rising at 9.8 meters per second. That's what causes gravity. No flat earther believes that. Just globe believers believe, flat Earth believers believe that. Nonsense. Yeah. Absolute and total nonsense. They want to gatekeep you. On YouTube, you search for flat Earth, you're going to get all propaganda. You're going to get nothing. You're going to get no good content whatsoever. Used to be, they changed the scoreboard. I don't know if you guys remember back before 2017, when you Google a Loch Ness Monster, there's 385,000 hits, on YouTube, right? You Google, President Trump, 48 million, searches for Trump, right? So there was a scoreboard, but flat Earth was becoming so big, it actually beat Trump. It became the most searched term in 2016 or 17 on the internet, on YouTube. So you know what they did? They took down the scoreboard.
See,
it went away.
The problem
the day that flat Earth beat Trump, they took the scoreboard off of YouTube because they didn't want people knowing that everyone's going. And now the global trolls, the anti-flat earthers go, flat Earth is dying. Look at the logistics. The search is going down. Bullshit. They're just hiding it. They're lying. They're lying like they always do.
I can believe it.
Go ahead, sorry.
So the thing about flat Earth and flat Earth Dave in general is that it's like a little worm, like it gets in you. Because the reason, obviously, I know this is your strategy and it's very smart and I appreciate it, that you get on all of these podcasts and stuff because we go in, and I'm no hiding it. That was my mentality bringing you on the first time, was that I was like, oh my God, this stupid dummy is going to come on. He's going to say the earth is flat. What a loser. And then I'm going to point and laugh at him and go, ha ha, earth round. And that's exactly the strategy. But then he comes on and he puts these little things in your head, and then they start eating away. It's a flat earth parasite that eats away you from the inside. You go like,
a truth parasite.
Sure.
Truth. Here's the thing. We crave truth. Our soul, our true self, our eternal self is craving truth. It's trying to let us live our best life. Then there are parasites that are running this world that have made you believe that they have power over you, made you believe that they can give you your rights. They can't give you your rights. They can only try and take them away, and they can only take them away if you stupidly agree, and most people do.
I don't know if you do this. Do you do this on purpose, where you just sprinkle in a lot of stuff that I really, really believe in intermit with the flat earth stuff?
Here's the thing. Not every show, like we had our show, and you were going to plan on laughing at me, but you have a mind that actually can think. Even though you're stoned and drinking, you have a mind that can think. Okay, that's a compliment, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, because there's people that their minds are so closed that they are unable to change their mind based on new information. I was a diehard Glober. I banned people from our social media. I wouldn't even let them comment because they think they wanted me to watch a flat earth video. I'm not going to watch a flat earth video. I have time for that. It's too stupid. I was right there, but then I was forced to look, right? You had me on and then you looked and you're like, damn, right? And that's the same thing that happens to anybody that looks. I offer 3 Bitcoins for 1 globe proof, right? I still got my Bitcoins. No one's getting them because the world's not a globe, right? But anyone that motivates people to do it, and then they look in and they're like, wow, you know, I thought I was going to get 3 Bitcoins and now I'm a flat earther and I lost half my friends.
I agree. Blake,
Okay.
why don't you have 3 Bitcoins now? If you're you're certain you should be able to prove the earth is flat. Take his
You know what I
Bitcoin.
like right now?
satellite thing.
Blake is not interrupting. He's listening. I really appreciate that, Blake.
Yeah,
Right, so
I've
let's
just been
talk about-
holding a question.
Okay, so go
Yeah,
ahead.
okay, let's talk about it. You ask your question, then I want to talk
Yeah.
about satellites.
Yes.
No, that was my question.
Yeah,
I
we-
just want to know about
Okay.
the satellite thing.
All right, you ever stand next to a 747? They're gigantic. Have you ever been on a 747?
No.
It's fucking
What's a
huge.
747?
It's a cruise ship. It's as big as
Oh,
a
okay.
football field. They're overwhelming. You don't realize how big a 747 is. Okay, it's a gigantic airplane. It's incredible. It takes like an hour for everyone to get out of it when it lands. Okay, it's that big. It's like a football stadium. Okay, at cruising altitude, it's an ant. It's tiny. You can barely see it. Okay, so why is it so small? Why does it get smaller at cruising altitude? Simple question. Answer is because
You can only see that far.
Look,
Things get smaller at a
this
distance.
is big.
Yes,
This
because-
is big.
distance.
And
It's
now
distance.
it's small.
Yeah, it's how far you
it's
can see
small
it.
because it's a distance. So as things go away, they get smaller and smaller. There's actually a formula that you can figure out how small things will be. That every time you double the distance of something, it's a quarter of its size. Okay. So here's this little speck. When you look up, you can easily miss the 747 flying at cruising altitude, which is about 5 miles high. What if I doubled it to 10 miles? How much smaller would it be? It would be a quarter of that size, and it would be dimmer because the farther away it is, the light spreads out, and things get dimmer in the distance. Okay. So if I doubled the distance, it's arguable that you could not see it with your naked eye. And it's actually kind of provable, but let's make it 5 times as far. Well, you definitely can't see it then. The ISS, the International Space Station, is the same size as it's about the same size as a football field. It's about the same size as 747. Okay, it's 50 times farther.
Yeah, it says the
50
International Space Station is 408 kilometers. We're Canadian, so we use kilometers.
Yeah, 200. Yeah, okay, but it's 50 times higher than a cruising of an airplane. Okay, now let's talk about a satellite. How big is a satellite? Size of a 747? No, it's about the size of a Volkswagen if you're lucky. Okay, and that's the same or higher distance. Okay, and you think you could see that with your naked eye? It's scientifically provable that you can't. Right. But I've seen the ISS, go over. I've seen it go from horizon to horizon. I've seen it. Get the ISS tracker. I challenge you. Go find a nice hilltop, clear night, and hopefully you have it a passing, and you'll see this thing bright as the sun. Tiny. It's a star. So, it's bigger than a star, but you'll see it, and it'll cruise across the sky, and you'll be like, that's the International Space Station. First, how come it's so bright? How is the sun reflecting off of it all the way across the sky? Why is it going right to my eyes? How could it be reflecting to everybody? Because if it's reflecting the sun, it's only going to reflect it in one direction, right? When you if I had a mirror, you guys are 10 feet apart, and I was shining one of you in the face, the other one wouldn't see the reflection. But the ISS isn't even a mirror. So how is it so bright? Makes no sense. The other thing is it's going 17,500 miles an hour. It goes like 8 or to 11 minutes to go from my horizon to my other horizon. It's going from the east to the west. Wait a minute. It's in 8 minutes, it should be over California already, 3,000 miles away. I'm going to see that for that long. Obviously, what I'm seeing is local and smaller and closer, and it is its own light. I don't know what it is, right? I have a theory on what it is, and we had a NASA whistleblower that say they fake it with the old U-2 spy planes that are, with the LED lights and transparent parts, and they do it. I think there's a whole bunch of different ways that they fake the ISS.
But you can't Sorry. Can't
No,
you
go ahead.
track satellites like all of them? They can't all be fake shrapnel out there. Like you can see satellites
you
with
can
your naked
track.
eye and also track them
how
online.
can you? Okay,
I don't think you can see satellites with your naked eye.
Can you see a Volkswagen Bug 250 miles away? Absolutely not. Okay, absolutely not. But you know about satellites? We recently had one came from China supposedly. This is satellites. NASA has a balloon program. You know about NASA balloons, right? Mm-hmm. NASA controls all of the helium in the world. Okay, and they launch these satelloons mostly down in the deep south, probably lots in Antarctica, and they launch them on balloons. NASA admits it. They have tens of thousands of these things in the air. They're like, well, they're way cheaper than putting them up on a rocket, and we can control exactly where they go. We can get them to a certain altitude, and they'll just stay right where we want them. How are they staying right where they want them if we're spinning, corkscrewing, and moving through space? Unless, perhaps, we're a flat stationary plane, and they're just getting them up to the perfect spot where they don't drift too much. Okay? Here's a satellite going into space. It's on a balloon, right? It's on a balloon. Whoops, what happened there? I don't know what that one is. No, that's something else.
Sorry, can I ask a quick question?
And then these satellites crash all over the world, and they always have balloons attached to them. Okay, and I don't know. Write this down. Levelwithmefilm.com. Levelwithmefilm.com. Actually, FlatEarthDave.com. The link is there. It's a new film that just came out Saturday on Flat Earth Day, April 22nd. Used to be called Earth Day, and we destroy NASA and their satelloons, and we confront astronauts, and it's literally a fantastic movie. Everybody go watch it. It's phenomenal.
I kind of love
levelwithmefilm.com.
I love the word satelloon, but yeah, I think Blake had a question.
In the flat Earth, in the flat Earth theory, is the Earth stationary in space, or
it's not even so there is no space.
Okay.
The best way I can describe it is that we are the basement of the universe. What does that mean? I don't know what it means, man, because nobody can claim to know what's below us, because the deepest hole ever dug was in Russia. It's called the Great Borehole, right? And they dug and they used ground penetrating radar, and they were wrong every step of the way. This is actually the hole that they actually ended up sealing up. They were drilling, and they're like, okay, there's no more rocks. They hit more rocks. Okay, there's no more water. They hit more water. Okay, there's no more dirt or whatever, and they hit more dirt. It was wrong every step of the way. And then 7.8 miles down, it couldn't go any farther. Diamond tips, explosions. They tried everything for years and years. They couldn't get any deeper. So then they dropped a microphone down. A microphone. Just for some reason, a microphone. This is just a little side story about the microphone. I heard the recording once. And when I tell you right now, all the hair on my arms is standing up. It's the creepiest friggin' thing ever. After they did that recording, they sealed off the hole, shut it down, and they never went back. Okay, there was like screams from like it sounded literally. If you wanted to say what does hell sound like, it sounded like hell. I'm not saying that's what's down there. I'm saying it fucking scared the crap out of me when I heard it. But that's the deepest hole ever dug. So let me ask you a question. What's the radius of the Earth? Told you earlier. Probably weren't listening.
I'm not good with numbers. I'm never going to get it right again.
It's just under 4,000 miles.
I also they went way too much for that.
So
I can't remember things.
So here is an apple, a Macintosh apple, has very thin skin. They drilled a fraction of the way through the skin of the apple. They were wrong guessing what they're going to hit every step of the way, but somehow they know what the core is, right? This is in every textbook, right? We got a molten magnetic core, okay? And they have all these layers. How the hell did they know that when they couldn't even figure out what was in the skin? Okay. How the hell did they know that? This is a pseudoscience, nonsensical meme. That's it. And guess what? This is how nonsensical it is. There's all different types of magnets. If you heat a magnet, it gets to the Curie point. What is the Curie point? The Curie point is a point before the magnet melts, it loses all of its magnetism. Molten magnetic core. And by the way, NASA just said the other day that the core stopped spinning and started spinning in the opposite direction. Okay? Come on. They just want to see how stupid people are. They're like, oh, yeah, well, let's tell them that the molten magnet, which is impossible, it's changed directions. Watch, and no one will even object. They're like, oh wow, scientists said the guy has a white lab coat. It's got a bow tie. Okay,
I'm telling you, this is that borehole right there was the thing. Like that was like the tipping point for me. That's what I've argued tooth and nail over and over again on this show. Is that I don't understand just the logistics of doing that. Like, just say theoretically you could just bore right through the earth. Everything is going to fall towards the center. Is that how everything's works? So where does after you pass the middle of the earth, all the dirt just falls backwards? It just starts falling the wrong direction. Is that what's going to happen in the globe theory?
Do you guys know what the 3-body problem is?
Nope.
So you can get the world's best supercomputer and you say, okay, I've got a sun and it's got this much gravity, and I've got a planet, it's got this much gravity, and you put it into a simulation and it will be predictable forever. They can figure out where it's going to be in 10 seconds or in 10 years or 10,000 years, and it'll draw it perfectly. Then you add one more body in there, another sun, a moon, a planet, whatever, and the entire thing goes into chaos mode like this. Okay, it's called the 3-body problem. They cannot model it with the greatest supercomputer of all time. Okay, but somehow we live in a solar system, ignoring the rest of the galaxy, everything, and the other galaxies and everything, and the Big Bang and all of this, where you have a giant gas ball in a vacuum. That's a problem. That's holding on to Mercury and Venus and Earth and Mars and Saturn and Jupiter and Pluto. All right, all of these planets. It's holding on to them. But the planets' gravity, which is a theory, they're all holding on to their moons. They say Jupiter has like 70 moons. Okay, 70, not 3, not 2, right? So when you got the sun, right? You got the sun over here, and you got the Earth here, and the moon's coming around the Earth. Wouldn't the sun like pull it away or speed it up a little bit when it comes around the other way? Wouldn't the sun tug it and slow it down? Wouldn't all of these gravities affect each other? When we had a planetary alignment where all the planets were in alignment just the other day, wouldn't that gravity tug on something else and cause this kind of a problem? Okay. Wouldn't it cause a problem? And the answer is, sure it would. But we don't live there. Gravity isn't what holds things together. Our solar system that we call the soul lure system, by the way, they're stealing your soul. They're fishing for your soul. Okay. It's more accurate than any Rolex quartz watch. It's a perfect timepiece, right? This is not a perfect timepiece. This is what our solar system would be doing. Okay. That's just with 3 bodies. Now add the 100 or so, whatever number that's in our system. Absolute and total nonsense. So here's the question. Well, what the hell is holding? Why do things go down? How come I don't float up? Right. Mm-hmm. And there's actually some discussion in the flat Earth community, but on the flat Earth, we think down is down for people in America and South America and Australia. Down is down. Down is down for all of us. Down is down. It's the same down as me. Up is the same up.
Yep.
Left and right, forward and backwards, east and west are all relative to whichever direction you're facing or wherever you are. But up is up, down is down, right? They want us to think that's crazy, and this isn't crazy, where people are standing antipodal to each other on opposite sides of the earth, okay? While it's spinning in a space vacuum with water, changing directions. That's normal. That's fine. That's easy, okay? That's retarded. I can say that.
Absolutely. Right? It sounds it. Okay. But I think, this is important then. Okay. How can you explain the Coriolis effect? And if you've watched an episode of The Simpsons, then you know that the toilets flush backwards in Australia.
That's not true.
Well, not true. No, but I've seen it. Somebody sent me.
Toilets spin backwards everywhere. It depends on the way the water goes into the bowl. That's it. It has nothing to do with the Coriolis effect, which is a semi-real effect, and I'll explain it in a second. But it has to do with the bulb. I have toilets that spin in different directions in my house. I actually have friends in Australia that their toilets spin the same direction as one of my toilets. Okay, it doesn't matter, right? On my app, if you go to the frequently asked questions section and go to Coriolis, there's a whole bunch of videos that'll show you how they're tricking you and the whole thing. It's nonsense. But here's the thing. there may be a Coriolis, like the globalists say that the Earth is spinning. Flat earthers say that the sky is turning. All of the stars turn in the sky. And looking at star trails, it makes perfect sense that the sky is turning, because if we were in this heliocentric corkscrewing model, the sky would be insanity. It would be crazy what's going on. Okay.
Yeah.
I had a new graphic for that. I want to show you that actually. We'll show you what we would see. Where is it?
What if everything on the outside is spinning with us?
Look at me. I found it. Hold on. Let me just finish.
Okay.
Flat Earth with all the stars, right? This is what we see when we look up. They're all spinning around. But if we're corkscrewing through space like this is what we would see. Okay? This is what we see.
We had this discussion right before the show. Exactly that. I'm like, how come if we're spinning at astronomical speeds, spinning through space, flying up, however you want to see it, how come the stars just seem so stationary and you can find them very easily? Like, I know me and Dave can look at the exact same constellations at different points in the Earth, and they're right there. We can all see them, and it's not this blurry mess that we're seeing because we're spinning. They're not spinning.
I did this long before I was a flat earther. I loved astronomy. I loved Star Wars. I loved all that shit. And I was amazed at the North Star. And I actually put a pipe. I nailed it to a utility pole and the side of my house. My mom wasn't very happy with that. And I could look through it, and there was a North Star. And any night, winter, summer, spring, fall, doesn't matter. There's a North Star. It's there during the day, but you can't see it because it's too light outside. But it never moved, and I kind of forgot about it for years. And I went back, I'm like, oh, the North Star's still there. And it was up for probably a decade, okay? And the North Star was still there, it never moved. We're corkscrewing through space. We're going 186 million miles every 6 months on the opposite side of the sun, okay? We're moving 4.4 billion miles a year, okay? How the frig is the North Star still look right through that pipe? It's right there. It's right there, okay? Make no sense. Okay, you guys know about the Georgia Guidestones, right?
Mm-hmm. I do. I don't think Blake does.
Never heard of it.
Well, you never heard of Georgia Guidestone. Well, this is the monument on 11/11 at 11:11 a.m. Once a year, the sun will line up with all of these holes, and it'll light up this little emblem. This is like a little war memorial. But at 11:11 a.m., it lines up through all these holes on 11/11. That's a perfect timepiece. That's not a heliocentric gravitational nonsensical model. But the Georgia Guidestones were in Georgia. They were built in 1981. And if you look through the center, it lines up. There's a little hole through one of the stones. It lines up with Polaris, and you see perfect trails. All right. If you look through it, this is it right here. You get perfect star trails. Well, how the heck does Polaris stay there? It was up for over 41 years. Now, it just got blown up last year. Okay, some terrorist, but in reality, their heliocentric model was being disproven by it because, the argument why Polaris stays in the same spot by the globalists is it's so far away that doesn't matter 4.4 billion miles. There's no parallax because it's so far away. That there's no parallax. And when you're driving down the road, the street lights are going boom, boom, boom. They're going by you, but the trees in the distance, on top of the mountain, they're moving very slowly, right? And that's called parallax. The farther something is, the slower it looks like it's moving. Polaris is so far away, it doesn't matter that we're moving 4.4 billion miles every year for hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years. There's no parallax, which is retarded. But that's their argument. But they also say that the Earth is precessing every 1 degree every 76 years. So a half a degree would throw Polaris out of that hole and you wouldn't be able to see it. Well, those stones were up for over 40 years, which is more than a half a degree, and it was still lined up, so they blew it up. So it got blown up. But here's the thing. There's another shaft there's lots of them, but in the Great Pyramid in Egypt that points at Polaris. But you know what their argument for that is? Oh, when they built it, it pointed towards Thuban, a different North Star, because of precession, and it just happens to be pointing at Polaris, for our lifetime. Okay, it's just again retardation over retardation.
I completely agree with you because when I'm looking at the exact same thing, because I don't like to believe things because some other guy told me. And I like to believe things that I can just kind of do. And I think that's kind of just human nature, where you just want to be like, I can prove this.
Let me ask you a question. Right. All right. Gravity.
Oh, God.
This is a balloon. Okay. Here, I got one right here.
Yeah.
Got a balloon. Why isn't it going like this? Why isn't it going up like this?
Because it's denser than air. That's my answer.
It's denser than air. It's down. Right. It's denser than air.
Yeah.
Now they tell us that gravity is pulling it down. What if I turned up the gravity 10 times stronger? Would it go like this? Would it stretch? Probably, right?
Yeah,
I would assume.
Let's say this is 1 pound of pressure. Well, if I hold a 10-pound weight on here, it would stretch it out.
Yeah, I would assume so.
So if I turned up the gravity to 10 G's, it would go like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So why doesn't the air on Earth fill the available space? Space, a void, a vacuum, no pressure, right? Air fills the available space. And the globalist will say, well, it's denser down here, and as it gets up, it gets thinner and 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 thinner until it's nothing.
Yeah.
That's a cool story. Right? But if I had a bottle, like I had a bottle, and I sucked all the air out of it, put the top on it, so I got low pressure in the bottle. I turned it upside down, and I opened it. Whoosh, it's going to suck the air right up and away from Earth. Down here, next to Earth, where the gravity is the strongest. Wait a minute. How come it pulled the air up and away? If I stuck the top of that in underwater, it would suck the water up above the level of the water. At what altitude would that not suck the air right into it? And the answer is there is no altitude. It would work perfectly. Yes, air gets thinner above because the air sorts itself out. The lighter gases are up higher. Okay. And it's all homogeneous. It's getting mixed up. But here's the thing. I blow this up. Now, what's going on here? This is stretching in every direction. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's stretching in every direction. Okay. So I got it stretching in every direction. What is the air trying to do? It's trying to escape. It's like, I need to go to low pressure. And God, if I sucked all the air out of this room, the balloon would just get bigger and bigger until it popped. But the air is trying to get up. It's trying to get sideways. It's trying to go out in every direction. It's the pressure of the air is stronger than the gravity, because the gravity couldn't stretch out this rubber, but the air is. So the pressure of the air wanting to escape is stronger than gravity. So hang with me. So if there's no gravity, why is it hanging down? Because here's the thing. Everyone goes, just buoyancy and density. That's great. But here's a mind thought. And a lot of people get triggered by this.
Okay.
I'm holding a bowling ball, whatever. I'm holding a can. I'm holding something I can hold in my hand. It's heavy. I'm holding a big rock. Okay. And I drop it, it's more dense, it'll go down, it'll hit the ground. But what if I snap my fingers and the entire Earth disappeared? So now I'm just in an empty void of space, and I let it go. What direction is it going to go?
My thought process seems to be scoped by things I would learn, and if I would assume it's like space, and it wouldn't. It would just kind of float.
It kind of floats away because there's no gravity in space, right?
The answer is, there is no direction, no bias. So why do things go down? Okay. So you guys know who Walter Lewin is? Walter Lewin, the great MIT professor. He says it's electric forces that hold our world together. Everything in this world, every object, everything, every piece of matter, without exception, is electrostatic, and it has an electrostatic charge. And you guys learned in school that a positive and a negative will attract each other. Well, the Earth has a negative charge or a neutral charge. Either way, negative, neutral, it's the same thing, okay? Mm-hmm. And it is not moving. The air, the sky, is a positively charged. So when you lift something up above the ground, it's surrounded by a positive charge. And it says, hey, down is this way. It's a very weak force. That electrostatic force, it's weak, just like they tell us gravity's weak. But guess what? Your science, your Glober science, says that the electrostatic force is 10 to the 36 power stronger. That's 10 with 36 zeros. Stronger than gravity. So let's pretend gravity's real and the electrostatic force is provably real. I can prove it for you. I'm going to prove it right now. And then I'll get back to that question. Okay.
I'm an electrical guy. I know a lot. too much.
Well, so look, electrostatic force is provable. You can see it everywhere. But here is where is it? So here we got this tinfoil triangle, and we crank a negative force into it, and it still has the negative charge into it. Not negative force, a negative charge, and it goes up. Is it defying gravity, or is it just defying the negative charge of the Earth? Is it just repelling itself from the Earth with a negative charge?
Here's the question.
And so the opposite.
Sorry.
Hold on. Let me just hold your question. Write it down. Okay.
It fits into this.
Go ahead. Ask the question.
Doesn't the heliocentric version of the Earth also believe that I understand that you say it's the molten part of the magnet would demagnetize it, but don't they also believe that there's a magnet at the core of the Earth?
Yeah, they believe there's a magnet at the core of the Earth. It's the geodynamo model, but that's a molten magnet. Again, we talked about how you can't have a molten magnet. And compasses, if you look at a compass only works when it's level. Here's the thing. There's no compass that points towards the South Pole. If there was a magnet at the center and we have a South Pole and a North Pole, when you're south of the equator, your compass should swing around and point to the south. But nothing points to the south. Compasses barely work in the deep south because they're so far away from the north that they don't know where to go. Okay? The north is the magnetic north. There is no magnetic south. Okay? There's no magnetic south. All right? So here's some helium balloons left over from a party, and we got them tied to this little button at the end here, and we got this wire that goes to a Van de Graaff generator, and that could we can change the charge. So we're gonna crank up the generator, and we're gonna add a positive charge to this, a stronger positive charge than it already has, and all of a sudden it gets heavier. Now, what do? Do we defy gravity, or do we just change the electrostatic charge? We discharge it, and it goes back up. Now, is gravity pulling down on that charge, or is the electrostatic charge, which is 10 to the 36 power stronger than gravity? Let me explain what 10 to the 36 power means. I don't believe it. This is what they say. 10 to the 36 power is retarded. And I'm using that word because it's fucking retarded.
You can use any word you want, man.
I know, but my listeners are like, why do you have to swear? I want my kids to hear this. All right. It's because sometimes you have to swear to get the point across. All right. If I tapped you on the forehead with my finger, it's like tap, just like it didn't hurt, but it's annoying. Okay. If I did it 100 times harder, that's kind of like a punch. If I did it 1,000 times harder, I'd probably knock you out. If I did it 1,000,000 times farther, your head would explode. If I did it 1,000,000,000 times harder, I think you would kill. It would probably be like a bomb went off, right? If I did it 1,000,000,000,000 times harder, everyone in the neighborhood would die. Okay, this is how strong the punch would be. It would just be ridiculous. The shockwave from the sound of my finger hitting your head 1,000,000,000 times harder would probably kill everybody for a mile. Okay, 1,000,000,000,000 times harder is 10 to the 15th power stronger. And they tell us that the electrostatic force is 10 to the 36 power stronger. Okay.
I'm with you.
Okay,
I don't.
So here hold on. You're going, I can't figure this out. This doesn't make any sense. That's because you're smart. Because it doesn't make any sense. You can't figure it out. It's retarded. Okay.
No, I'm also retarded. That's a problem.
Well, that's why they banned the word retarded, because when you start, if we're allowed to use that word, you hear something, that they say in cosmology, and you'd be like, that's retarded, right? And people would be like, what do you mean? Because it is. It's all retarded. It's absolutely all completely and totally retarded.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
One more thing. This is from MIT, right? This is called the silent drone. It's got no moving parts. It just has a little electric hum to it, and it flies. Why is it defying gravity? Or is it? They're just changing the electrostatic charge. They're making it a stronger negative charge. Okay? If you look at the periodic table of elements, each element that's heavier than the next one, it's because it has an additional positive charge to it. Wait, more positive charge, more weight, because the negative Earth is attracting it stronger and stronger and stronger. Lead has a lot more positive charges than balsa wood. Okay?
Okay.
And that's why this thing flies with no moving parts. They're just using electrostatics.
So let me get this straight. Let me get this straight. Just so I'm clear, I don't want to move off of this. If I just negatively charge anything, I should be able, like a lot, whatever the amount is. If I can, I should be able to raise it freely off of the earth.
You ever see somebody get electrocuted or a lightning strike? What happens? They go flying in the air. Lightning hits the ground, changes the charge of the ground for a split second, and everything goes flying. Did it defy gravity, or did it defy the electrostatic charge of the world? Right? You know, if you want to believe in the rapture, maybe they just, you know, turn off the friggin' negative charge of the earth. Everyone gets raptured. During electrical storms, they've measured things fall at different rates. They fall at different speeds than they do when there's not an electrical storm. Everything I'm pointing out to is a preponderance of evidence showing you that the electrostatic force is the real one. It's the one that's proven. It's the one that's not a theory. It's the one that can be demonstrated again and again and again by anybody in a lab, in nature, everywhere. That everything that we see is showing variations in, you know, the electricity, you know, lightning hits the ground, somebody goes flying, right? 9/11, all the cars flipped over. What was going on there? There's some electrostatic charge going on there, right? All of the stuff that's going on, all of that points to electrostatic. 0 points to gravity. 0. Gravity is made up. You have to make up 96% of it, dark matter and dark energy. No one's ever seen it. No one's ever measured it, but it has to exist for gravity to work, and it still doesn't work, okay? But they're like, oh, you know, look, if you guys came up with a theory and it was 96 out of 100 things of it were wrong, you don't say, well, it's right. You throw out the theory. Like, if I owed you $100, I said, here's $3. We're good. What do you mean? Where's the 97? Or, you know, I give you $4. Where's the 90? Where's the other 96? It's like, oh, they're dark dollars. You can't see them. Yeah, we're good. Don't worry about it. Okay, you punch me in the head.
So sorry, I can't get the satellite thing out of my head. So are no satellites are in space? Nobody's reached space.
No, he said they're called satelloons.
Okay, yeah.
Satelloons. So there's tens of thousands of satellites up there on balloons. Now, there's some sort of firmament limit. You know, I think the sky is flat, and I think it goes over an extended plane. Let's go there in a minute too. Let me show you go a little farther on what the flat Earth is. They may have figured out how to hang things from the sky electrostatically. Like, you ever see it's called quantum locking, where they take the super cold superconductor and they can lock it in the air and then send it across the track, and it floats and it's locked into a position. They also have U-2 spy planes up there that are zigzagging, crisscrossing the earth, you know, looking at stuff. Well, you know, all of the communications, 99.9% of the communications are done with underwater cables, right? And if you look at the underwater cables of the earth, they prove the earth is flat because there's no southern cables connecting, you know, Australia to South America. They go all the way into the north. Why would they run the cable all the way to the north? Right? Again, you don't just become a flat earther. You really have to study and learn, right? Here's the undersea cables. Okay, kind of hard to see, but on a globe, Santiago, Chile, is literally right next to Australia. They're at the bottom of the globe, right? Here's Australia, and here's Santiago, right? Santiago, Australia. They could just run a cable, whoop, and you're there, right? Santiago. But they don't. The cables go all the way up to the north, all the way around, and all the way down, okay? That's because the earth isn't set up like this. So how is the earth set up? This is going to blow your mind. So, ready? Okay. Good. Do you want one more thing on satellites, or
I'm just a general question about this. Okay, so has nothing gone to space then in the flat Earth theory? Like,
I want you guys to watch the movie Level with Me. You remember the Challenger astronauts that all died?
Yep.
They're all alive.
Even the teacher? Like, one of them was just like a teacher, right?
Is alive.
Really?
They're all alive. Nobody is ever on any of those rockets.
So you're telling me part of the operation, whatever this is to get a classroom full of students to watch
mind control.
They watched their teacher blow up.
20% of the country watched it live, and within 1 hour, 80% of the world had seen it already. It was don't quote those exact numbers. They're actually in the movie. I forget the exact number, but It's called trauma-based mind control, and it's them kicking the can down the road as far as civilian space flight, because they always been promising we're gonna have hotels in space, you're gonna go around the moon, you're gonna all this stuff. It's all nonsense. They just kick the can. There's a movie called that we have out. It's in the app also. You'll find it. It's called NASA Going Nowhere Since 1959. And it shows how each administration goes, we're going to the moon. And no, we're not going to the moon. We're going to Mars. And the next administration, no, we're going back to the moon. No, we're going to Mars. And they go nowhere. They go nowhere. Okay. We've never been to the moon. You can't go to the moon because the moon is just a light. All right. It's a light in the sky. Here is the best map that we have. This is the map that they use on, all of the United Nations and, all of the maps of the world. As a matter of fact, if you look, the United Nations, this is the flat Earth map. And what are they hiding out here? Okay. Right. This is the World Meteorological Organization. They got the flat Earth map, right? The International Civil Aviation Organization, they got the flat Earth map. And then we have our flat Earth map, right? Good, right? Good, no good. Okay. Wait a minute. Why is ours no good? And you guys are all using it, right? It's nonsense, right? So here is the question. Okay. So, and then they just built this in Africa. This is a new United Nations building in Africa. Look at that. I see a lot of sixes in there, if you ask me.
So hold on, before we move on, between like Argentina and, or not, I guess Chile, whatever the coastline there, and Australia. When I was doing my research for this, I found that you can look it up right now. You could just go to the flight logs. They only go to this small island. All the flights that are going from Australia in that direction go to Papua New Guinea. Like the tiny little island
we're gonna show you some stuff here. I'll show you a couple things. So,
but basically there's no, like what he was saying with that cable. Yeah. They don't take that flight path either. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump over the Atlantic to go to Chile to Australia. But they don't. They go the other way.
That used to be the case, but there is a direct flight on Qantas. From Santiago, Chile to Australia, which is the opposite side of the map. And the Globers are like, that's impossible. It would take, twice as long. Let me ask you a question. When you're in an airplane, how do you know how fast you're going? You don't. Okay. So, and people think that sound is a barrier that's been brainwashed into us. No, it's not. Okay. The planes that do it are only there's only a small handful of military pilots, right? And these planes have 7 layers of heat-resistant paint. Well, what is that saying? It's saying that it's going a little bit faster than they're telling us. Okay, so when they have that direct flight, if they, we're going 50% faster and they caught a 200-mile-an-hour tailwind, which they can get on that route, they can make that in no problem. No problem. The thing is, there's flights that have problems, and like sometimes there's an emergency. For example, from New York to
New Zealand.
Where's this? New Zealand, right? And they're going, and right about here they had an emergency. Okay, I'm actually on the wrong one. Here we go. So on the globe, from here to here, they had an emergency, and they went over to Fiji. Wait a minute, why did they go to Fiji? It looks even farther out of the way than to here, okay? And their answer is because on a flat Earth, Fiji's right there. It's right on their flight route, right? So they had to land. They landed real quick. They went into Fiji, right? Here's another one, okay? This one is they're going from Chicago to Doha, all right? Chicago to Doha. And they had an emergency right here. They went to Moscow, right? Moscow is like 1,500 miles out of the way. They got there in 15 minutes. How did that happen? How's that even possible? Okay. Why? Because look, Moscow is right on their flight route. It's right on their flight route, right? There's so many flights that that on a globe you should be over the ocean all the time, but people looking out the window like, why do I see land? Nobody gets an explanation, right? There's here's another one. They landed in Moscow, emergency, Moscow. Well, Moscow's right on that line. You draw a straight line on a flat Earth map, and everywhere they go is just makes perfect sense on a flat Earth, right? Here's one, on a globe, they go all the way up to Tokyo and then all the way down to Auckland. Well, here it is. Tokyo, Auckland. It's a straight line why is it a straight line on a flat Earth map? Okay, why don't they just take the straight line on the globe, which is a curve, a straight curve, by the way, on a globe? Okay, you guys remember the World Cup, right? World Cup the other day, not that long ago. So the World Cup's in Doha. They're going to go home. They got their own private planes. They don't have to pick up other passengers. They don't have to do anything, right? They went to Rome to refuel, and then they flew to Buenos Aires. Wait a minute. That looks about the same distance, okay, on the globe. Why did they go all the way to Rome? Well, maybe they wanted to see the Pope. That's what the Globers say, right? But Doha, Rome, refuel, because you can't refuel out here in the middle of the ocean, and Buenos Aires. That makes sense. This is, what's the word?
Retarded.
Thank you. Oh, I like that.
Sorry.
Very, very good. Very good. Very impressive. And here's the thing. Don't believe me. There's a book called 16 Emergency Landings Proving Flat Earth. You can find it online. You can find it on my website, flatearthdave.com, right? And they're all documented for you. We've done all the work for you. It's all there. It's a great coffee table book. I highly recommend it.
I went down the rabbit hole and I looked at all these dumb things, and it made me even more. Okay, before I know you probably got to go, and
we do. But before I switch over, what we're talking about just before this, before I jump to the flight routes, I was about to show you something. Oh, the maps. Hold on, and then you could ask me a question.
Okay.
All right. So here's a question you should have. What's out here? Is this space? And the answer is no. Not space, okay? It's not space. So what is out there? And the answer is I don't know. All right,
sorry,
but we
your
can
photo
speculate.
is still the book. Oh, there we go.
Here is this is at the Dallas International Airport. This is TSA, right? Weird how they're protecting the ice wall, right? This is how you have to exit TSA. Through here.
Okay.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? Like in your face.
And I wouldn't put it past people to do symbolism like that. If this was just a big conspiracy, yes. I would absolutely do that. But like you got to think about this from your perspective. Yeah. Say you were behind the whole conglomerate to cover everything up, wouldn't you do shit like that
just to be funny?
Just to be
absolutely.
funny.
And it's also this whole world. They're wizards. They're using spellcraft, and our words mean a lot of things. And they're spelling. They're casting spells on you. And what do you cast a spell with? A magic wand. What's a magic wand made out of? It's made out of the Hollywood. Did you know that?
Come on, dude.
Hollywood. Hollywood. Look it up. Magic wands are made from the holly tree. All right.
But you gotta understand, Dave. That makes you sound crazy. Like I
know it makes me sound crazy, right?
But I have to. I'm the problem.
The news is all propaganda. They're steering your mind. News is an acronym for North, East, West, South. They're steering your mind, and they're making you worried when you watch the news, and they're putting lines in your forehead with the headlines. Okay, it goes on and on.
Stop it.
All right. But I want to show you something. Here's where we live. This is Antarctica here. This is 1,000, 2,000 miles across, whatever. And then out here is more ocean and more land. What is another word for more? Extra. And what's another word for land? Territory. Terra. Extra terra. If somebody lived out here on the extra terra and they came to visit us in here, they'd be an extraterrestrial from the outer space. Okay. Now, how would they hide this from us? You want to say how they'd hide it from us? Right? So imagine we have a map of the world. Ready? Pay attention. And we draw a circle. And we say, okay, we got North America, Mexico, part of South America. And we say, let's get rid of the rest of the world. And we're going to wrap this around a sphere and say, this is your globe. There's just North America and part of South America and Mexico, and that's the whole world. Okay? And how would you know? So now look at this. Imagine if the world was many ponds. We live in just one of these ponds. So we live in the center of this pond right here. These are other worlds on our plane. And then we cut this out. We cut it out. We got rid of all of the rest. We wrapped it around a sphere and we said, this is all that there is. And you're not allowed to explore south because you're not. No one's allowed to explore south. You know what this is? This is the Matrix. It's a prison for your mind. The globe is a prison for your mind to stop you from becoming all that you can be.
What the fuck?
How come there's no documented thing of like the edge of the world, right? If it's
Yes, there's
the flat Earth thing is like
plenty of
the ice
documented
wall, right?
stuff. I mean, there's tons of video, and you can go. The ends of the world is the end of our pond. So let's say the world is just we'll shrink it down. We're in Kansas. We got a lake. It's 100 miles around, and there's islands, and the center is the North Pole. And you're on the lake. You live on an island, and one day you sail to the edge of the lake. Well, now you're in Kansas. We'll call it Antarctica, Kansas, and you step up off the lake. It's higher. You know that Antarctica is the highest land on Earth? Did you know that? The edge of a lake is the highest land. It contains the lake. Okay. And so now you're on Kansas, Antarctica, and you start walking away from the lake. Well, where's the end? I don't know. Maybe 10 miles later, you come up to another lake. Is that the end of the world, or is that another world? Okay.
But
here's the thing. You're never going to learn this if you don't take the time and effort and know where to look. This is my app. It's called the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. It's $3. Okay? That's it. It's $3. On it, every day there's a new featured video. All you got to do is while you're having your bowl of Cheerios in the morning, watch the featured video each day. Okay? And then you'll be like, wow, that's interesting. But wait, I got a question. When you have a question, you click the question mark button.
Your thing didn't pop up, Dave.
What's that?
Your thing didn't pop up. Refresh it.
Motherfucker. All right.
There it is.
So here we go. We're going to go back. We're going to go back. Featured video of the day. Click it. Watch it every day for 2 weeks. At the end of the 2 weeks, you'll be a flat earther. But if you have a question, you click the question mark, and up come all of the frequently asked questions. Like, hey, why would they lie? That's a great question. Great videos in there, right? What about seasons? Boom. Click that. Up comes videos. Fully explain how seasons work. Seasons prove we live on a flat earth. They don't prove the opposite. They prove we live on a flat earth. Seasons are retarded on a globe. Okay? Thumbnail for this is going to have the word retarded on
Perfect. It's actually, it's usually there. Don't worry.
Okay.
Wait.
There's also, and for the very low-minded people, I have lots of, and not even low-minded people. It's just people love memes. At the bottom of this page, let it load. There's great memes and memes that really make you think. And memes that like, wow, how did they ever believe that? So once I just loaded it, great stuff on here. So you can flip to that. That alone will wake you up. Just this page of images. There's up there. Hey, look at this. Level with me. Gotta go. You gotta watch it. Level with me. Everybody.
I might actually just do
film.com or go to flatearthdave.com. That's all you have to remember. Flatearthdave.com. Scroll down. You'll see Level with Me. Click it. Get it. And it's a blockbuster. It should be in every Lowe's cinema worldwide. But
I might do.
They won't do that.
A little watch along with Force Blake into it.
Oh, I'm down to watch it.
Are you down?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Absolutely, boys. Absolutely.
We'll do
Absolutely.
it.
You'll love it. But wait, hold on a second.
Yeah.
The web button right here, right? You scroll down, full length videos right here. The FE videos, awesome stuff. This page alone will keep you busy for years. Okay, tons and tons of stuff. Books. I know you guys aren't interested in books, but this is a new book out by Eric Dubay. Flat Earth FAQs. Everything's in there. Great coffee table book, but you guys probably prefer videos, and they're all on here. There's all sorts of shopping stuff, Flat Earth merchandise. If you like cool shirts, well, this isn't my shirt, but this is a cool shirt. I have my shop right here. If you want to, flat smack people by wearing a Flat Earth shirt, eventually you will. Okay.
I don't think I've made it there
and
yet.
If you're interested in doing a cleanse, this stuff is crazy, and I want to talk about it. I'm actually doing a live stream tomorrow about this colon cleanse thing. First time ever. Crazy stories. Crazy stories.
Well, I would love to.
What's your thing?
But okay, I can't wrap this up because you'll probably love my girlfriend because I went down this rabbit hole of flat Earth stuff and without missing a beat, didn't question. I was just like, let's just go into this open-minded and just say like, what would you believe more? And not unlike Blake, she didn't just yell gravity at me. And then like she was just like. I was like, okay. She was like, okay, so what's holding the water on? She had all the normal questions that people would do, and I was like, the ice wall, and then she just
one quick thing. It's not the ice wall. It's the shoreline of Antarctica. It's not the wall like in the Game of Thrones. That's a psyop. It's the shoreline. It's a wall, but it's a cliff, and then the plateau goes on and on and on. It's not a two-sided wall.
So you might have answered her question because she was very interested in that. She said, "What if the push for climate change and the ability to lower our temperatures is a massive a problem for people who are on the extraterrestrials, the people who are out of the circle, because if more and more of Antarctica melts away, all of a sudden, and then her eyes lit up and was like, "Is this true?"
Here, you guys, I got one more thing to blow you away, right? But look at this. This is the East Coast of America. Every blue dot on here, you can't even see it, are flat earthers that have my app. All right. Jesus. And you can contact all of them. All right. Where are you guys located?
Canada. Yeah, Ontario.
Oh, you're in Canada. Yeah. Right. So these are the people that are just near me, and I could tap on a dot and send a person a message. I can send out a group message. We're actually having a meetup on the 29th in Stamford, Connecticut. Anyone that's listening that might hear that, but and the app does amazing things. People are using it as a dating app because when you become a flat earther, you want to find other flat earthers because you can't talk to other people, right? And when you find other flat earthers, you can find more and more, get more and more people. So this is a growing thing.
No worry, we know a guy. I can design you a dating app logo. I know a guy.
Yeah,
flat Earth dating app logo.
So Canada, I'm just I don't know where in Canada you guys are.
East Coast, Ontario.
You're on the East Coast?
Yeah.
Ontario? Where's Ontario?
It's above New York. It's like straight above you. We're at Niagara Falls. Yeah, that's us right there, right about there.
All right, you're sparse. You're sparse. You got some people in there.
We got some friends. We got what?
Yeah, you got some people, but it's an amazing thing. So again, the app, you can find it at flatearthdave.com. It's $3. If you want to message people, you have to, it's $11 a year, but I have a referral thing. You refer 11 people to the app and then you get the subscription for free. It does all sorts of stuff. And you want to educate yourself. A new game is called the Trivia Game, and it's Earth Trivia. You open that up and you can play, 1 to 4 players, and it'll give you all sorts of questions about the Earth. A lot of fun. Okay. No. So I want to show you one more thing, and then we're going to call it wraps. Is that cool?
Yep.
Yeah.
So if I can remember where the hell it is, I will be glad. Okay. So and anyone that's watching, like, I know what he's going to do now. He's going to talk about Kiribati. All right. So this is a map that was found, published in 1910 in Hawaii, and it shows all of these other continents out here. Okay. And it's like, what's going on? All right. So some guys were looking at there's websites that will give you ship cargo tracking. It'll show you every cargo ship in the world, where it is, how big it is, captain, where it came from, what it's got on it, where it's going. It gives you all the information about it, tons of information. So you click on any ship and it shows you. But they noticed there was a line of ships, 200, 300, 400, 500 miles inside of the shoreline of Antarctica. They're showing us Antarctica. But by the way, if you say Antarctica from space images, they're all cartoons. Why is that? Okay. So how could they be all the way in there? So we clicked on one and it gave no information other than the size of the ship. It was 580 meters, 80 meters wide, and that's a gigantic ship. And it said it was from the nation of Kiribati. You know where Kiribati is?
Not a clue.
I didn't either. Out in the middle of the ocean, I have a pin on it because it's so small you can't see it. There it is. And I zoom in, and this is a friggin' sandbar, okay? It's a sandbar. It's got a gigantic ship, okay? So, and this is all unpopulated. People just live like over here. There's just like a little area where people live.
Wait, where is this? Can you?
This is in the middle of the South Pacific, in the middle of nowhere. China, the U.S., the UK, all these countries are saying Kiribati is a very important trade route for us. China gave them $10 billion recently. Wait a minute. Why are they getting $10 billion? Why is it an important trade route? They're in the middle of nowhere. Why do we need to stop at that sandbar? Okay, what are we getting fuel there? Where are they getting the fuel from? It makes no sense whatsoever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But real little quick side note, on Kiribati, there's a hotel called the Captain Cook Hotel. Captain Cook is the guy that tried to circumnavigate Antarctica, and it took him 3.5 years. He went over 68,000 miles. Well, that makes sense on a flat Earth map. Makes no sense on a globe, right? So what is going on there, right? There's a whole bunch of other stuff, but if we go back to, where are we? If we go back to, that's what I want to go over here. Go back to here. This is where Kiribati is. This ship was out here. Maybe it is an important trade route with other civilizations that they're hiding from us, from the extraterrestrials right here, close. Maybe there's multiple shipping routes.
Okay.
Maybe they're trading tuna fish. Maybe they're trading children. Maybe they're trading fuel. Maybe who knows what they're trading. Okay. Maybe we're getting our computer chips from them. In 1970s, we didn't have computer chips. Now we got the M2 chip by Apple that does crazy shit. Did we make that, or did we get it traded? Maybe we're trading. Maybe that's where the 250,000 children out of the United States that disappear every year. Okay. Who knows?
So in this
who knows
theory,
what's going on out here?
In this theory, there are people, say maybe pharaohs from Egypt back in time that lived on our Earth that we know it, and then left, and they're a part of this new civilization as well.
So here's the thing. Hold on. We don't need to speculate what's beyond the shoreline of Antarctica or higher than we can reach to prove the Earth is flat. It is fun and interesting, and there's a lot of evidence showing that there is more land, that they're hiding more land. In the app, if you hit the books section and you scroll down, there's a book called The Iron Republic, okay? And this is a story about a politician in New York that in the 1800s got fed up, sold everything, bought a ship, went to Antarctica, was cruising around, found an inlet, got sucked in the inlet. They were going through. Then they popped out back into the ocean again. They couldn't figure out where they were. All the stars were wrong. They were lost at sea for about 3 months. And then all of a sudden they saw land, and they saw a city. They're like, great. The city wasn't making any noise. Really weird. And they waited till morning, and a boat came out and greeted them. The guy in English said, hey, where? They're like, where are we? We're from America. Where is this? And he's like, well, this is the Iron Republic. And they're like, well, where's that? And he goes, well, it's on the other side of the Antarctic ice wall, about the same distance as America is. And so the story is they went there. The guy talked about flat screen TVs, electric floating cars, a whole different form of government, like high tech stuff. This is in the 1800s. This was written, right? It was published in 1901 in Florida Magazine. Okay. And so after 10 years of being there, the guy got married and his wife ended up dying. It was a horrible story. And then he got his ship back, and he left, and he was distraught. And he went back home to the United States, and he tells this story, right? Now, whether it's true or not doesn't matter. I think it's true. It rings true. Mm-hmm. They're talking about more land beyond Antarctica in the 1800s. That's flat Earth, my friend. That's flat Earth, big time, right? And so it makes perfect sense. Like, where did these civilizations go to? Did they travel outwards? There's a whole bunch of things that we can look at. But when you start looking at the physical things that you think prove the globe, they all prove flat Earth, right? But I think there's more land. There's other flat earthers that don't think it. They think that this is the only pond. That's it. We're closed in a dome and we can't get out. I don't believe that. I think that's ridiculous.
Well, why couldn't you just fly there?
That's another psyop.
Couldn't you just fly there?
You can't just fly there. You can't fly beyond 60 degrees south. And where are you how are you going to get fuel?
At that place.
At where?
At that little island.
Kiribati? Kiribati is like this. You'd have to fuel up again before you even got to Antarctica. It's so far away. Okay. So the bottom line is no one is allowed to go there. Before you mentioned the Falkland Islands, right? Mm-hmm. The Falkland Islands, what was that war about? Well, I'll tell you what that war was about. It's about Falkland Islands is, I think, is number 2. These are all military bases run by the Crown. This is how they monitor the shoreline. No one's allowed to get close to Antarctica. In The Next Level, that's the second level movie, The Next Level. We have a clip showing some fishermen that cross the line, and boom, a destroyer and a drone, comes after them. I think that one was a drone and a destroyer. But either way, they were turned around immediately. They will not let anybody independently explore Antarctica. And so, that's weird that treaty is the longest lasting treaty, right? All the countries in the world agree. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing. You can believe you live on a globe, but that's a religion because you can't come up with one reason. Because if you did, you'd have 3 Bitcoins. Okay? That's a religion.
Get your Bitcoins. Why don't you get your Bitcoins? You seem like you could easily do it, Blake.
All right.
Just go work your way and reach out to Flat Earth Dave. You can buy his app 1,000 times with a few Bitcoins. So there you go. But,
there you go. So flatearthdave.com, get everything there. And here's the thing. It's really easy to believe, right? I believe you guys live in Canada. I don't know it. You told me. I was like, you know what? I believe them.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they lie? But if I wanted to know it, I have to take the time, figure it out, go on Facebook, find your friends, look up look, he went to high school here. Yeah, he's in Canada. But that takes time and effort. It's not that important to me. But where I live, who I am, the power that I have, reaching my true potential, not taking this place for granted, making everything of this life, that's important to me. And I'm going to take all the time I want. I walked away from the American dream. I had my own business. I had everything. I walked away from it all just to spread this message because the world is going to crap if people don't get their heads out of their asses and figure out where we are and figure out that we have the power. Everyone's like, well, it doesn't make a difference. I still have to go to work on Monday. Well, I used to say that. Now I don't have to go to work on Monday. Okay? This world is amazing. This world, you know what the biggest conspiracy is? This world itself is contriving to give you everything that you think, right? But if they can put your mind in a prison and limit your thoughts, keep you in fear, false evidence appearing real, put the headlines in you with the news steering your mind northeast, west, south, okay? Then they can control you. And then they're like, hey, you know what? You're going to work really hard. We're going to take 40% of your money and we're going to give you 15% back if you're lucky and you're going to thank us, okay? Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's absolute insanity. Okay, we have to get off their playing field, which is the globe. We have to get off their fiat money system. You got to get into the right cryptocurrency, not CDBCs or whatever they're freaking called. You got to get into the right stuff. So pay attention, everybody. And there's information on the app all about all of this stuff. This app will save your life. Don't send your kids to college. Click the homeschool button. Click on Crow 777 Radio. And subscribe. It's $8 a month. There's no financing, though. $8 a month. You'll be smarter than any college kid. You just got to listen to one episode each day, 5 days a week, and you'll be one of the smartest, most well-functioning people here, and you will thrive.
This is why I have a problem. I feel like I could get into a cult very easily. Where it's like he speaks so eloquently.
So again, you're in a cult. Your buddy right next to you is in a cult. He's in a cult that believes they live on a spinning ball flying through an impossible space vacuum. He believes it. He's going to defend it. He's going to fight to the death for it, but he can't give you a reason why. That is a dangerous religious cult. The globe, the helio nonsensical bullshit model is a cult. Okay, it's a satanic cult, the soul lure system. They're literally trying to steal your soul. They don't want you to realize the true power that you have. They don't want you to realize that your thoughts create your reality. Look around, boys. Everything that you have is because of the way that you think.
Fuck, man, I hate that it really resonates with me, and sorry, I was trying not to swear, but I have a hard time with I have a potty mouth. But it hits me. It hits me so hard.
You guys like smoking the weed a little bit.
A little.
Like most flat earthers are big time smokers. And you made a comment before we started the show that, it opens up your mind. I think there's something to that. I think that's why, it's been illegal for so long.
Yeah. I see that. So, I totally agree.
I would probably smoke more if it didn't hurt my lungs so much. It hurts. So I eat some gummies. I take some tinctures, tonight. After this, I'm a little riled up. I got to go to sleep because I got a show early in the morning. So I'll probably take a little Melodome. Actually, it's a tincture by these guys, Melodome, and it's very good. And I'll sleep like a baby.
Perfect. Well,
good stuff, and I'll have great dreams. Great dreams too.
That's the best part. Well, thank you so much, Flat Earth. You have carte blanche to come back anytime you want. I have another guy that you could definitely try to change his mind. Blake,
you know what I love? That your Globey friend barely said anything.
Well, I'm just listening. I was just here to listen, and I had no idea about the flat Earth theory at all. So I'm just
both
trying
of
to
you guys.
hear both sides.
I'm giving you respect because when I first came on, Ryan was like, "Oh, I'm going to make fun of this guy," and then he's like, "Whoa!" Right? And it took him a year to digest it to get me back here, and now you're right in the same place. It takes time and effort. You can try to just forget all of this, but I have to tell you something. I planted so many seeds. It's a fungus. You're never going to get rid of it. It's going to grow through your whole body until you accept it and embrace it and dig in and learn it. And the thing is, flat earthers know that we don't know many things. Like, I know how my car works a little bit, but I don't know how the inner works. I don't know how the gas gets from the tank to the spark plugs or whatever, I don't know that, but my car works. I have a car and I understand lots of it. That's how the earth is. We understand lots of it. But what we all agree on and know for a fact is we're not a spinning ball flying through an impossible space vacuum.
I'm with you. I kind of agree with that at the very least. I appreciate it. But thank you. Don't be a stranger. You can definitely come back. I have another co-host that's not here right now, but he's also thinks that we're in a vacuum flying through space at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And I feel like, Blake, where do you land? If you were at a 1 at the beginning of this and on the flat Earth, okay. You're at a 1 and a 10 is a full Dave. Yeah. Where are you sitting now?
I'd say I sit at like a 3.5 to a 4. At least like I had no idea about the flat earth theory, right? I had no idea where anybody's coming from.
Good job, Dave.
I just want to know. I just want to know where people are coming from.
You moved the needle because I've been yelling at him for weeks and it didn't move the needle at all.
Here's the thing. Okay. Listen, we all have our lives. We have things to do and things not to do, whatever. Get the app. Every day at 8:01 a.m. Eastern, a new video will show up. Just watch that video. You're done. That's it. But what's going to happen is you're going to watch that video and you're going to go, oh, look at the next video that's on the list right there. Let me see that one too. And then you're going to watch another one. And over the course of a couple of weeks, you'll start going, wow. And guess what? It doesn't get boring. It gets more interesting. Right? Then you're going to get into, there's so much more. Flat Earth opens up an entire realm. The rabbit hole's so deep, there is no bottom. So dive in. You're not going to hit the bottom. It's fantastic.
I can attest to it.
So get the app and then do that. And a lot of people go, like, I can't wait another day. Hit the archive button. You can go back 3 years. Okay, 4 years.
He's not a lie because I just kind of went through trying to listen to some of the stuff just so I could poke holes in it, trying to get more questions.
The more you look, the more you try to debunk, the more you're in. You're in, Ryan. You're 100% not a globe. And Blake, you're in shock right now. That's why you think you're at a 3.5, but you're at an 8.5.
Okay.
I feel like I've just been knighted. I feel like I just sat down and he just like took a flat earth and just put it over my shoulders and like, you are now a flat earther.
It's nice work, boys.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'll talk to you afterwards. I'll get you all the information you need. And guys, definitely go check out more of this. It's wild, and I'm assuming you talk about more than flat Earth on all of your podcasts, right? You go down the whole rabbit hole.
We do. There's all sorts of stuff. You want to find out the stuff that we're not allowed to talk about on YouTube? StopLookThink.com. StopLookThink.com.
Love it.
Just remember that. That rabbit hole is so deep and scary. You gotta choose your battles.
I love it.
But I choose flat Earth because this is the one that affects every single human on Earth every single day. And it's the one that once you see it, unlocks your mind from the Matrix. And when you unplug from the Matrix, all of a sudden you realize how powerful you truly are.
Yep. Sorry, Blake.
All right.
We just force fed you the red pill. Thank you, Flat Earth Dave. Everybody go check it out. Keep downloading all the stuff and keep your shit together.
All right, guys. See ya. Thanks. Bye.
See ya.
Hey, yo, know when y'all want that Clever Name Podcast. Y'all want that Clever Name Podcast. Y'all want that Clever Name Podcast. Y'all want that Clever Name Podcast.
Hello everyone, Strawman Dan here. And before I start, I just want to tell you all about what is by far my favorite app of all time. Yes, you guessed it, it's the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon and Zodiac Clock app. I know, for years I have been anti-Flat Earth with my highly edited weekly anti-Flat Earth scripted rants. But after downloading this app, wow, I'm blown away. Earth is a horizontal level plane and I'm a complete douchebag. I'm sorry.